mankind is a scientific, religious, law-abiding, just like any other human being all over the world. Dennett, 1911, page 21. But his radical ideas were opposed to the colonial race. Nigeria. Lord Lugard made sure he left Nigeria. Not for Thomas the same way too. And he talked a lot about the achievements of the Benin man. But he was told to leave the country because his data did not justify imperialism and its social. But the imperialists were using anthropology to justify colonialism. Anthropology is now a respected discipline in West Africa and Nigeria, as many modern anthropologists in areas of physical and cultural evolution, human diversity and human race, and reveal insight into the past of man, with findings revealing that the black man is equal, if not superior, to the white. Anthropology matters. The importance and uses of anthropology. This is the quotation by Marcus Garvey that says, a people without the knowledge of their past, history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. A central concern of anthropologists is the application of the knowledge to solutions to human problems. Anthropologists are equipped to apply their knowledge in practical fields to engender development in medicine, education, tourism, language, and facilitating teaching and communication in inter-ethnic situations. We have this example. I give you this example of Dr. Jim Akin, a medical anthropologist with a PhD in anthropology, World Bank President, 2012-2019. And if we all recall, nobody opposed the candidature of our compatriots. But then Barack Obama presented Kim, who has a PhD in anthropology, and he now became the World Bank President. And according to Kim, studying social theory exposed me to how people try to understand what is happening in the world. Ethnography and participant observation, which are methods we use in anthropology, gave us a method by which to dig deeply into the worlds of people from all corners of the earth. I still use those methods every day. Also, anthropological knowledge has centrally been applied in the information communication technology. The knowledge of anthropology gives us a sense of accomplishment in the past and confidence to venture into the future. Anthropology helps us to be more tolerant of people. Anthropology has been useful in helping governments to rule in indigenous people. Anthropologists top fields, they use each other's knowledge and research techniques to better understand why we act the way we do and how it affects our physical, cultural, social, and political environment. Anthropology shows what it means to be human, and as it is the study of various human cultures in the world. There is also the rise of unprecedented interest in cultural identity, and this is seen as an asset. Through the work of anthropologists, our cherished cultural identity can be preserved. Anthropology plays a big role in the struggle against global racism through the concept of cultural relativism. Cultural relativism is that anthropological attitude that a society's custom and ideas can be viewed in the context of that society's culture. It helps to foster empathy and understanding and requires impartial observation. This concept of cultural relativism unveils the message of human mutual understanding. So rather than one race claiming superiority over another, mankind should rather think of complementarity in which all people live in mutual independence for the good of mankind as a whole. The key idea here is mutual tolerance and accommodation, and this has been a major foundation of world peace. Anthropology is uniquely a knowledge for 21st century to help explain world cultures, vital to our attempts to come in terms with the globalized world, essentially for building understanding and respect across real or imagined cultural divides, And it is not only the most scientific of the humanities, it is the most humanistic of the sciences, but also the most useful of the basic science. Now, anthropology as an intersection, cross-disciplinary significance. It was Wolf in 1964 that defined anthropology that it's less a subject matter than a bond between subject matters. It is part history, part literature, in part natural science, part social science. It strives to study men, both from within and without. It represents both a manner of looking at man and a vision of man. Again, the most scientific of the humanities and the most humanist of the sciences. Now, that metaphor of anthropology as a borderline, a border zone, a junction, intersection, it came up first when anthropologists started debating in American Anthropological Association. Where do we stand? And many of them describe themselves as living at the border zone in intellectual life between science, social science, and humanities. And back here in Nigeria, we also started debating, where are we? Are we at the border zone, borderline, intersection, junction? And we concluded that we are at the intersection. And as such, anthropologists, we are comfortable in living anywhere. As such, we are living in that intersection of the humanities, sciences, and social sciences. Because the field of anthropology is seen as a large umbrella term, including the four fields, like we mentioned, linguistics, archaeology, physical anthropology, and cultural anthropology. And it stands at the conjunction of this, of social science, and the humanities. This observation is reflected in Nigerian universities as well as universities worldwide. I give an example. In the University of Ibadan, you can study anthropology in Faculty of Arts at the Institute of African Studies. You can also study anthropology in the Faculty of Science as in pure science. And then you can study anthropology in Department of Sociology and Anthropology. Also too, it's reflected in there at Obafemi Awolowo University. Now, anthropology and other fields of study. Anthropology has a primary and special relationship with the humanities, the sciences, and the social sciences. So the inescapable conclusion is that anthropology as a research field, perhaps maybe like some other fields, we stand at that intersection where the humanities and sciences and social sciences meet. Now, people will begin to wonder. Many people call me a sociologist. I correct them. I say I'm an anthropologist. Sociology and anthropology, they are similar, but different. The main difference is that the sociologists, they concentrate more on the society, while we, the anthropologists, we are concerned about culture. And the concept of culture is of utmost importance in anthropology. Culture as a way of life of a people is central to understanding major things in anthropological analysis. It is culture that makes us human. It is culture that makes us different from animals. It also gives a community, a family, a village, city, and a national sense of cohesion and identity, of pride, dignity, a collective understanding and shared experience, which is the foundation of citizenship. And when we talk about culture, we have material and non-material culture. And understanding of material culture have been central to anthropology since inception. Madam Vice-Chancellor, let me now turn our attention to the second part of this lecture, which has to do with my contributions mainly in the field of material culture. First, as a cultural anthropologist, my natural laboratory has been in the Benin cultural environment. I have many precursors in the field of ethnography of Benin, many local and foreign historians and anthropologists whose work motivated me to do thorough anthropological work in Benin from the insider's point of view, which is valued in anthropology. Now, underlining the whole purpose of my research is the need to promote indigenous knowledge and technology as a way of social, economic, and political growth, development, and true and complete independence. The first part of my contributions, longitudinal research in Benin studies for 4 decades. At one time, 1979 was the beginning of longitudinal research that continued for decades in Benin studies. And longitudinal research is that continuous long-term study of an area or site, and it's common with us anthropologists. We revisit an area of research repeatedly, revealing changes and constancy in some aspects of the culture and people, like you will see in my work. Between 1979, 1980 to 89, the first decade, I worked in the area of Benin material culture, traditions of origin and archaeology. My work in the 1980s, it examined all aspects of the guild system, especially arts and craft guilds, how they originated and developed. Also too, the arts and craft guilds in pre-colonial setting, the guild system, how they were actively promoted the development and growth of indigenous craft industry. But with the colonial rule, the guilds began a long process of adaptation to the new economic order under colonial and post-colonial era. Still, between 1979 and 1989, I worked on traditions of origin of the Benin people. And in that 1980, all the known versions of Edo traditions of origins were analyzed, and through the use of special archaeological data, these various traditions were interpreted. Findings indicated autonomy, in which Benin may be a product of a collection of contiguous villages that emerged before AD 900, along with subsequent migrations. Archaeological findings of brownstone axes further indicated that this area may have been inhabited by the late Stone Age between 3,000 and 11,000 years ago. Man, 11,000 years ago, in southern Nigeria, they were just one people. Through glottochronology and lexical statistics, we have found out that the ancestors of the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Edo people, 11,000 years ago, they were one people, one nation, one language. Between 1990 and 1999, I still focused on traditions of origin. I reviewed all archaeological work done in Benin and with the available oral traditional accounts, and I drew up a list of 39 prospective sites through oral tradition and transect work. Between 1990 to 1999, I did more work on material culture, especially on the Benin craft guilds from the different periods and changes that occurred throughout this period. We should note Benin art was for recording history, and being out of content from the source, a problem of interpretation occurred. In my work, Benin brass plaques were discussed as equivalent to a picture or a page in a book. In Pugak and Akin, Eghafona 1997, it was on the interpretation of the semantics of the gesture of a photograph of a bronze figure. Akin, Eghafona with an architect Kokunre and Adetokunbo, then a geographer, 1996, we discussed indigenous Benin architecture and reviewed the architectural style of the impluvium courtyard known as Auditorium. Akin, Eghafona, Eboreme, and anthropologists in 1997, we highlighted the centenary anniversary of the Benin invasion from the eyewitness and the anthropological perspective. Also, Lawal in the 1990s to 99, Lawal, Akin, Eghafona, and Odukoya, 1997A and B, we discussed intergroup relationship in Benin and indigenous science and technological prowess of the erstwhile kingdom. Between 2000 and 2009, in this 21st century, my research still focused largely on material culture and museology, as well as ethnography and current trends. My major work has been curating of Benin cultural materials by integrating indigenous and orthodox method. When the Europeans invaded Benin, some of them observed the objects that were left behind, and as recorded by Bradbury and written by Philip Dark, I quote, much of the loot removed from Benin in 1897 was in a good state of preservation, showing that care had been taken of it. There were people in the palace whose job it was to look after it. With that assumption, I investigated and I highlighted the indigenous curatorial and conservation practices of the Benin people. This research took me from 1988 to year 2000. And Further works emanating from this major research included alternative methods of exhibiting Benin cultural materials in museums, alternative and indigenous conservation methods for African cultural objects in museums. I'm sure some people from the museum they are here. If they do not get the conservation materials from the Western world, they cannot preserve our objects. Why the people of Benin were keeping these objects? Indigenous materials, they may be good, but you can make them modern to suit your purpose. In the same vein too, for using Benin cultural objects for educational programs in the museums were recommended at Eghafona 2002. Also at Eghafona 2008 in the area of visual anthropology, we emphasized that many Benin art objects, 1992, 1995, 2002, all at Eghafona, served as levelers for recalling events or persons represented in their artwork. Also too, we looked into Benin dressing in contemporary Nigeria, examining the dressing in the light of social change and the issue of cultural identity. Furthermore, in the area of tourism, regards to the art of brass casting, Eghafona 2002-2004, and Osawaru and Eghafona 2004 again, illustrated how the traditional trade can be self-reliant and service the tourist market in Nigeria. In Benin architecture, Eghafona Gunte, an architect, and Osawaru in fine arts in Eghafona discussed how the order of Benin's palace can be a repository of history and suggesting a royal museum within that palace. The history of modern literary development among the Edo people, 1897 and 1960, was also examined in Usmadede and Eghafona year 2000. In the area of onomastic research, seen as very useful tool in African studies, in tracing African culture embedded in names and naming practices to recover and reconstruct African heritage. For example, my full name is Kokunre. And one of my daughters, her name is Eghafona. If we look at many of these names, they have meaning and they can tell us a lot. In Eghafona 2003, we tried to unravel the meaning of the naming of the ancient city of Benin to obtain a clearer and more detailed picture of her early origin and history. Obaye Jawa condemned the usage of B-I-N-I, as no word like B-I-N-I existed in the Edo vocabulary, and its usage alongside with Edo and Benin is erroneous. Ejawa, 1992. Only Edo and Benin should be used when describing the people, the place, and language. Other toponymical investigations on Benin and her neighbors, like connections with Yoruba, Igbo, and Niger Delta, like I mentioned earlier, were also carried out. Another ethnographic aspect of Benin was looked into, Ugiabe, Eghafona, and Omogiwa, the analysis of the principle of primogeniture in Benin. Under current trend, Eghafona, Ibizugbe, and Eghafona 2007 discussed the theme of elder abuse and neglect as a necessary fallout of the displacement of African traditional values of respect and care for the elderly and people of Benin. Another current trend was human trafficking and modern slavery and the high involvement of the Benin Edo people. In Eghafona 2009, I discussed facts of contributing to female trafficking in the society, the negative role of the family in female trafficking, and the role the family can play assisting and reducing or eliminating the incident of trafficking in Benin City, Edo State. In this regard, please let me stress the point. The origin of prostitution in Benin can be traced to colonial era and rise of a capitalist economy. There has hitherto not been any indigenous word for prostitution in Benin, and the term for prostitution are borrowed. Ashewo and Oshuka, they are Yoruba and Igbo words for prostitution. It is strongly believed that the Benin woman had no custom of prostitution until the colonial era. Another reason is that Benin made contact with Europeans since 1485, and Obaye of Benin, 1504 to 1550, was said to have exchanged ambassadors with the King of Portugal. However, the Benin people were not known for intermarriage or interbreeding with the Europeans. There's nothing wrong with that, because some people down the coast did it. If the Benin women were into international prostitution as far back as then, they would have started it with the Portuguese. However, Benin people, the women did not make themselves available. And a whatever 1946 mentioned that it was a taboo for a Benin woman, a custom for a Benin woman to marry a white man. And I must also mention that many reasons are responsible for the high amount of women getting trafficked in Europe. Economic problem of poverty and deprivation was the main cause. And unfortunately, hard-working Benin women who went to Italy to buy gold and beads, they discovered a market for international prostitution. In fact, it was actually a pull factor. And getting back, just like I'll tell people, if you go to a spare parts shop, you don't see an Igbo man training Benin boys in their shop, or you do not see the Hausa men selling dollars, recruiting Benin boys to follow them to sell dollars. Unfortunately, what the economists call the first mover effect, our women came back, and the only place they could come back to was their environment. However, I am happy to say Edo State Task Force on Human Trafficking, NAPTIP, they are all doing something to end this human trafficking in this area. 2010, this last decade, 2010 to 2019, I continued with material culture and the question of restitution. I stressed my original premise that the works of art taken from Benin were meant to record history. Also in the area of visual anthropology and photography, used as a viable research tool to be exploited. Still under monastic studies, toponyms derived from anthroponyms were discussed, and the deciding factors in different areas. Furthermore, Akin Eghafona, Ihimi of Linguistics and Ebahiro of Linguistics 2012, we examined external and foreign influences on the naming of Benin Kingdom. Akin Eghafona in 2018 further had a further discussion on the guild system of Benin as artifacts, antiquities, and art. Again, in 2018, I discussed how the history of Benin kings also revealed much about their people, era, and kingdom. In translocations, materiality, and historical inquiries into the displacement of cultural assets in Benin, Akin Eghafona 2019 worked on the specificities of the relationship between materiality, the significance and the status of Benin cultural objects, and the specific power in the use of ivory, brass, wood, and terracotta. Again, the issue of restitution and reparation or recreating has become a very big issue, and the clamor for the return of Benin objects has gained momentum over the years as originally speculated by Akin Eghafona. Current trends: human trafficking. Ikiora, a lawyer, and Akin Eghafona 2018C, we discuss the traditional and diplomatic fight against modern slavery. And on the other hand, Ohomba, an economist in the University of Johannesburg, and Akin Eghafona in 2019, we reviewed transnational remittances of human trafficking and the changing socio-economic status of women in Benin City. My second part is my contributions to archaeology in Ile-Ife and Benin. I have worked in a number of sites. Most prominent was the Go-Around site in Grove in Ife, well interpreted. Then Darling and Akin Eghafona in Benin examined the conservation management of the Benin artworks as the world's longest artwork, and the phenomena of global interest and importance for state formation studies. You can see that our walls 4 times longer than the walls of China. Our ancestors did this several years ago. Now, why is it that it's the ancestors of the Chinese people that we are buying everything for, if we were greater than them several years ago? Moving on, my team collaborative transdisciplinary research. Madam Vice-Chancellor, ma'am, I have worked, done team research with several, a number of people and across disciplines. In Akin Eghafona and we examined the anthropological theory of cultural evolutionism and its relevance and applicability to the studies in humanity. In Obaro and Akin Eghafona, we discussed how the role of and status of women in the family have undergone considerable alteration as a result of social, economic, and political changes affecting every known society. Hopefully, Bobo, Ibizugbe, and Agontai Eghafona, we worked on the role social workers can play in UB program. Also, to Agontai Eghafona and Hopefully Bobo in 2006, examining the role of education in national development. Ofowe of mental health in the College of Medical Sciences and Agontai Eghafona 2011 presented an overview of mentorship with the particular focus on mentors and mentoring among academic staff in Nigerian universities. Furthermore, Ofowe and the Agontai Eghafona also examined infertility as health as well as a social problem that can be a risk factor for gender-based violence. Eghafona and also an anthropologist in ABU, Oluwabamide 2003, it was on eradicating harmful cultural practices affecting women's health. Many of dentistry, College of Medicine, Wadia also of dentistry, and Agontai Eghafona in 2009 researched on dental implications of domestic violence against Nigerian women. I have this list, and I'm sure some of my colleagues will be wondering why I didn't mention the work we have done together. This is just a selected list. With the management science team of late Festus Iyayi, Kokunre, Iyayi, and Eghafona 2011 discussed the Nigerian perspective in gender inequality and human resource management. Again, in collaboration with the Faculty of Education Study team in Igudu, Auditorium, Peremene, and Eghafona 2011, the relationship between religious beliefs and family planning practices of married women, Zone 5 barracks of the Nigerian police. Sadu Alenke and Eghafona, we discussed the marginalization of and their exclusion for political participations and the social consequences of this marginalization. Outside the issue of gender, many of dentistry, Agontai Eghafona and Sauta, also a dentist, studied the dental problem of cleft lip and palate from a sociological and anthropological point of view. Oluwabamide and Eghafona will study the problem of facing the elderly in contemporary African societies because of ongoing social change and transformation. And then we recommended a place like a daycare center for the elderly. 50 years ago, we were not taking our children to the creche. It was a foreign idea. The same thing too, we cannot lock our dear old people in an old people's home. But then, if we do have a daycare center and they meet with people of their mates, they will live longer and they will be happier. Sado 2013, we discussed the impact of pension on job satisfaction, and in a major team research, Omoodion, Akpede, Matika Tainde, Eghafona, and Onokoraye, 2012, we focused on the community component of a larger action research project on HIV prevention for rural youths. The study was on ethnographic research in 10 Edo communities. In the collaborative research in the Center for Gender Studies, University of Benin, a study team in 2017-18 carried out research on the prevalence of sexual violence among undergraduate students of University of Edo in Edo State. The team was made up of Professor Evelyn Edosoma, Sylvia Osenehai, Adesuwa Usahon, Odaro Samwango, Eruke Ebagbe from Life Science, Institute of Public Admin, and College of Medicine, Medical Sciences. Now, other areas of contributions, commissioned research. Since 2001, I have conducted several social impact assessments for gas gathering and pipelines, marginal fields, road, artisanal and small-scale mining, cassava competitiveness implementations, oil palm, rubber development, waste management, and land projects. I've also been working in the field of irregular migration since 2003 under the tutelage and study team of Professor Christiana Okoje with Professor Obeyi Okoje of Medicine, Professor Gloria Vincent Osala, Professor of Medical Sociology, and Professor Victoria Onoha, Professor of Law. I have participated in a number of research-based consultancies for UNODC, UNICRI, IOM, Work Free Foundation, UNAFRI, African Union, Salvation Army, and NAMSI. Since 1992, here in the University of Benin, I have been teaching a number of undergraduate and postgraduate courses in anthropology. Since 2017, in the Africa Center for Excellence in Reproductive Health Innovation, University of Benin, I've been teaching social sciences, behavioral and social dimensions to reproductive health in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. I have supervised over 40 MSc, MPhil, and PhD theses. Madam Vice-Chancellor, among my former students are very successful Nigerians. Some of them are professors, and I'm happy to announce that 2 of them are Vice-Chancellors, one outside Nigeria and one within Nigeria. In all, Madam Vice-Chancellor, I feel extremely fulfilled as an academic in the area of teaching, research, and community development. This is me teaching a physical anthropology course. We have in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology the physical anthropology lab, and that's teaching a physical anthropology course. But if I feel extremely, I couldn't have done on my own. If I were to acknowledge everyone who assisted in me, the list of names would be ended. And it is with joy I offer my thanks and appreciation to everyone who has been part of my life. I am grateful to all who taught me. I am still learning. Primary school, secondary school, university. I am still learning Sunday school, Bible study, fellowship. And indeed, the Holy Spirit of God has been my greatest teacher. And I can say it with gratitude in my mind. He that is mighty has done great things for me. I thank the Almighty God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the Father of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who has been merciful to me all these 60 years and making this occasion a possibility in my life. I'm grateful to the Vice-Chancellor and the management team of the University of Benin. Incidentally, I was a student under the second Vice-Chancellor, Professor T.M. who is an undergraduate student and postgraduate student under employed by Professor Adetokunbo, and have been working in the University of Benin. So I have been with the 9 Vice-Chancellors somehow, virtually with. So I'm grateful to give opportunity to myself as a discipline I possess. I'm also grateful to Professor FNSL for entrusting me with the honor and responsibility of the Director of Center for Part-Time Programs since 2016. Special posthumous credit goes to late Professor E.P. Ubenche, who graciously announced by 2003 Associate Professorship for promotion in 2009. I would like to thank the staff of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology as well as Department of Social Work, University of Benin. They are my working their scientific community and family. As head of department in 2009 to 2013, I enjoyed the cooperation of nearly every one of them. I don't want to mention their names or else it will become another inaugural lecture. I acknowledge all my colleagues in the department, dearly departed, retired and still in service, for their cooperation and hospitable atmosphere that has enabled my research and academic career. I also want to use this opportunity to thank all my students, undergraduates and postgraduates. I am most grateful to my staff at the Center for Part-Time Programs, Eghafona campus, for their unwavering support and cooperation. I must not fail to mention my mentors. Princess Professor Adetokunbo, our EA in Sociology and Anthropology, and Professor Christiana E.E. Okoje, professional role models for me. I thank Adetokunbo, my cerebral fellow anthropologist, Monday Abiola, both Department of English for proofreading this manuscript. I'm also very grateful to the local organizing committee of this inaugural lecture. You are all wonderful. I acknowledge my church, All Saints Chapel of the Protestant denomination of University of Benin and its environment. The dignitaries, the clergy, members of the laity, most especially in the Eghafona campus chapel. I also salute members of all the associations and groups I belong to. I appreciate all my dear friends who encouraged and assisted me. Now I express my deep appreciation to members of my family. I acknowledge them all. And as an anthropologist, we study kinship. So, all my my family of orientation, procreation, nuclear, elementary, domestic, extended, adopted, private, and public. My love and gratitude go to my parents, late Chief Morgan and Dave Adiola at one time. My 89-year-old mother is present here. She is a trained teacher, and I attended the same secondary school she attended. I grew up seeing her always reading, and at 89 she's still reading. They generously took continued interest in my intellectual development and progress over the years. I thank my brothers and sisters, cousins and their families for their assistance and love. I want to thank all my siblings for their constant support. Madam Edowaye at one time, the late Dr. Sadiaye, a foremost orthopedic surgeon in Nigeria, and Mrs. Imuetinyan, Mr. Osaidi and Mrs. Ayanuwa Obaze, Ambassador Shola and Mrs. Ifwepo Moege, Mr. and Mrs. Enoma at one time, Mr. Osazuwa and Mrs. Rita Ojoka at one time, they are present here, Mr. and Mrs. Omoege at one time, Mr. Peter and Mrs. Isokiamba Nomayo, Professor Sayuki and Mrs. Otasowe Oshodi, and my younger ones, Mr. Osasuyi and Mrs. Gidika at one time, Dr. Ernest and Dr. Mrs. Abiowa Ubomba, Sir Professor Joshua and Dave Omosede Noma, Mr. Osaku and Mrs. Lizzie at one time, Engineer Agwa and Princess Mrs. Ogbonwokpa Igori on behalf of my Agontine cousins. I also acknowledge my maternal family, the Kester family of Agoshof in Lagos, originally from the family of Alaafin Adeyemi I, Alowolodu of Oyo Kingdom, who reigned 1876 to 1905. I am grateful to my husband's siblings. Some of them are here, my in-laws, the Eghafona. I must pay tribute to the kindness of my mother-in-law, the late Deaconess Iduzomogie Eghafona Legama Ni Elema, who departed this world 11 months, 2 weeks, and about 6 days ago. She was always kind and very patient and exhibited a sense of uncommon and rare humility. My darling husband, children have always been an important source of support. I could not have gone far without the support of my nuclear family. I would like to thank my husband, Professor Nosahai Ode Eghafona, for his support and encouragement. His attitude is a source of inspiration. I thank him for his patience and understanding through the period of time I had to travel from home, because he understood I didn't want to be an armchair anthropologist. My children and my in-laws, Mr. and Dr. Mrs. Azuwa Eghafona, Engineer Aiwanusa and Ms. Otailobege Eghafona, Mr. Olurotimi and Mrs. Elmo Adebusola Olushino, Dr. Edenida Eghafona, they are all present here, Ms. Ekirawobo Eghafona. I thank them all for their special love. Now to my crown jewels, the icing on the cake in my life, my beloved grandchildren, Master Boluwatife Olushino, Miss Kanida Bioluwa Olushino, Miss Ireoluwa Tomiwa Olushino, Miss Osabuyime Eghafona, Miss Osakioluwa Eghafona, and 7 weeks old Master Nosawema Eghafona. You are all dear to me. Finally, audience, I have to thank you for attending this inaugural lecture. My recommendations. One of the problems confronting African leadership is the challenge of how to manage diversity. There is a trend whereby our children are being culturally alienated, so that in the next generation, Africa may exist in name only, but not in the things that distinguish us as a cultural community. These have given room for negative attitude about their heritage. it is recommended that anthropology should be integrated in the compulsory general studies curriculum as a way of equipping our youth, elites generally, and leaders in particular for a better understanding of the society that they aspire to lead or are leading. Secondly, in the 1970s and 80s, anthropologists in Nigeria have been emphasizing a model of development based on the principle of self-reliance based on indigenous knowledge. There has been a poor follow-up on this, maybe because those in leadership, they have no exposure to anthropology, and so they are skeptical about the potentials of indigenous knowledge to launch them into economic prosperity. Yet, it is this indigenous technology that produced the wealth of Nigeria in the First Republic. It is hereby recommended that we should take up this strategy as a basis for planning our development henceforth. Madam Vice-Chancellor, when anthropology emphasizes human diversity, it covers knowledge production and knowledge systems. Thus, knowledge generated to address the problem of one civilization, it may be problematic in another part of the world. This reality was readily amply demonstrated in the 1970s and 1980s in this country, which partly inspired the argument for indigenous knowledge for a foundation for our development. This innovative knowledge, it is not going to fall down from the sky. It is our universities that society has mandated to generate such ideas on behalf of the society. Universities are engine room for research and ideas. They are places of discovery and the development of new knowledge to be passed on. The application of research is important. It's therefore time for our universities to brace up, generate indigenous original knowledge that could answer directly to our development needs, instead of copying models of Harvard, World Bank, IMF, conditions and the like. Charity begins at home. We are a university, and the university system is set up with one of the key objectives of independent thinking and originality. This has been severally and amply demonstrated in the Asian world, which is why they are posing the greatest developmental threat to the Western world. We must stop searching for solutions to our problems in terms of what we can copy from others. We should move away from developmental paradigm of unproductive imitation to that of productive innovation. Madam Vice-Chancellor, ma'am, in conclusion, in this lecture, I have discussed anthropological matters and how anthropology matters to us all. Madam Vice-Chancellor, in that metaphor of dwelling at the intersection of the humanities, sciences and social sciences, I have demonstrated both in theory and practice how my discipline connects to other fields of study. As a cultural anthropologist, it is important to stress any society that must strive and survive has to develop a culture suitable to the demands of that society. And as a final word, Madam Vice-Chancellor, those who started the inaugural lecture, men seems to be an oath-taking occasion. So, Madam Vice-Chancellor, ma'am, I humbly pledge today to continue to maintain the highest academic standard of honesty, integrity, and scholarship. I pledge to shape and serve to the best of my ability the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, Faculty of Social Sciences, and the University of Benin. Also, through my service in this university, I have served and I will continue to serve Nigeria as my country. Thank you all for your patience in listening to me.
I think we can do better for Professor Mrs. Eghafona. Thank you. May I now respectfully call on the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Lilian Imuetinyan, Salami, to do a recap of the lecture.
Because we were hearing all the zing zings and zing zings.
just get to our level so that at least some of us who don't want to be, of the we get to time because I kept saying, my darling friend, this is the first inaugural that is going to showcase how we continue after now. Thank you so much for keeping to time. We have learned that anthropology is the science which deals with human race, origins, societies, and culture, drawing upon knowledge from the social, biological, physical sciences, and humanities. Today, we have also been told that anthropology stands at the junction of social sciences, the sciences, and humanity, which justifies it is a unique and exceptional broad-based academic discipline, cutting across faculties in the University of Benin and other universities. Hence, anthropologists are living within the three major disciplines. Anthropologists are therefore equipped to apply their knowledge in practical fields to engender development in communities, medicine, education, tourism, information technology, and language. It gives us a sense of accomplishment in the past and confidence to venture into the future, and helps us to be more tolerant of people. Due to Professor Eghafona's involvement in longitudinal research in Benin studies for decades, as well as participating in researches in the different areas of humanity, education, management, and social sciences, she has successfully thrown light into the areas of Benin material culture, tradition of origin, ethnology, fiscal anthropology, anthropology, and non-analytic research in the different areas of anthropology. The researcher also discussed her research findings in current trends in Benin, focusing on abuse of elders and human trafficking modestly, which erroneously have defined us as a people. Underlining the whole purpose of the lecturer's research is the need to promote indigenous knowledge and technology as a way of social, economic, and political growth, development, and independence. She stressed that any society that must thrive and survive has to develop a culture that is suitable to the demands of that society. The lecturer recommended, among others, that anthropology should be integrated into compulsory general studies curriculum as a way of equipping youths, elites, and elders to better understanding of the dynamics of human society. Anthropology with the potential of indigenous knowledge can launch Nigeria into economic prosperity, especially for planning developmental programs. Finally, universities as engine room for research and ideas should brace up to regenerate indigenous original knowledge that could answer directly to Nigerian developmental needs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Of the immediate family holding place. Thank you. Professor Michael Orena. Professor Emeritus and Professor Mrs. Kokunre are here. Professor Tony Irabia, former DG NTA, is here. Professor Mrs. Elizabeth Deko is here. Professor Auditorium is here. And the immediate past registrar, Mrs. G. Eghafona, is here. You are all welcome. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to a very vibrant lecture today. Surely Professor Mrs. Kokunre Eghafona refused to stay in the other room. And that is why today is a source of pride to her family, to her friends, and to all of us. Please put your hands together. Let's allow our women to shine. They will do wonders. A quick information here that the reception as planned by the inaugural lecturer, Professor Mrs. Kokunre Eghafona, for all her guests, she will entertain them at the All Saints Reception Hall, while all students will be entertained at the Auditorium car park. So please take note. We are told here that they're using bracelets. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that's how we round up today's ceremony. But before we go, the Uniband anthem. Please rise.